where Cork City played Shelbourne this afternoon. Turned over by St Pat's last week, Dave Barry's side had fallen 5 points behind by Friday evening after the champions hit 3 of the best at Richmond Park. Their opener came after 25 minutes, Trevor Malloy teeing it up for Russell, who struck his shot beautifully into the top corner to put them 1 up. 7 minutes later, the Saints went 2 goals up. Colin Hawkins with the looping header over O'Dowd in the Rovers' goal. And 10 minutes into the second half, St Pat's secured the points and top spot in the Premier Division, courtesy of that Eddie Gormley free kick. So no doubt then in Cork minds as to what was required at Talca Park this afternoon. Let's see how it went with our match commentator, George Hamilton.
The headline from Talca Park is that the Shelbourne number 10 shirt is filled by this man, Liam Kelly. Yes, Stephen Gagan has been dropped after a series of performances that have been below the high level that he's achieved in the past. Greg Costello too has re-established himself in the Shelbourne team. He'll play at right back. And this is the way the side will line out. 3 league defeats in a row have dropped them down to 6th position. Shelbourne with a 4-4-2 formation, attempting to get back to winning ways. They're only to win in their last 4, the defeat of Shamrock Rovers in the FAI Cup. Pat Morley began the season as a Shelbourne player. In fact, he scored one of the goals in their memorable 3-3 UEFA Cup draw against Glasgow Rangers at Tranmere Rovers ground. But now very much a Cork City player and 2 goals in his last 2 games. Morley leads the Cork attack in an unchanged team from the one that went down to only its 3rd league defeat of the season to St Patrick's Athletic last Saturday. Patsy Frayne, whose father died in midweek, has made himself available, so Dave Barry is able to name the same 11 that started against Pats. Today's referee, the army man from Athlone, John Stacey. And it's Cork City who get us away. Shelbourne, who haven't beaten Cork in their last 4 meetings, and if you include the Super Cup, which was the pre-season tournament, make that 5. Yes, you've got to go back to the 3rd of October, 1997, to find the last Shells victory over Cork. And in that match, both Derek Collin and Declan Daly for Cork were sent off. Here's Paul Dougal. Sheridan, Fenlon, and Declan Gagan with the early ball in. Mooney underneath it and taking it cleanly under pressure from Kelly. And that's swiftly bowled to Ollie Cahill. Forward for Patsy Frayne. Caulfield beaten to it by Greg Costello. Stephen Gagan and Desi Baker, who at the start of the season would have considered themselves automatic choices for Shelbourne. Then Cronin. Caulfield chasing against McCarthy, who won it, and Scully helping it on its way. Onto it, Patsy Frayne. Good first touch, and picking out O'Brien. Daly free inside. He's gone instead for Kelvin Flanagan. And switched the play well to Cronin. Nice football by Cork. A beautiful ball here for Cahill. Cahill looking for Caulfield. Again, just that little bit too close to Alan Goff. But good flowing football from Cork City. That was Flanagan picking out Cronin, and another first touch on for Cahill. The cross just left a little to be desired. Now it's Fenlon. But persistence from Frayne releases Cahill. Fenlon sliding in, Cahill still on it, and Fenlon and Doolan together bringing the ball clear. And then Frayne challenges, it comes off Doolan, and it's a throw to Cork. Daly. Clearance by Scully. Steve Hill. Frayne. And Hill injured himself as he fell there. It's Colin O'Brien. Curling one towards Caulfield. Oh, keeper's missed it. O'Brien gets the goal. Was he deceived by the run of Caulfield, or did he just make a fundamental error? The net result is that Colin O'Brien's cross delivers Cork City's first goal after just 4 minutes of this. And the team who surrendered top spot last weekend to Pats and who can't afford a slip up here have gone into an early lead. It was meant as a cross for Caulfield. He floated it superbly. Caulfield Rose missed it, and the bounce of the ball appeared to deceive Alan Goff. And are Shelbourne paying the price for too many matches on their Talca Park pitch? Well, certainly the pitch had its part to play, but Colin O'Brien, with a superb cross that Caulfield just missed, won't argue with this. Shelbourne 0, Cork City 1. Dave Barry insisting to his men that they must not feel sorry for themselves having been beaten last week. They've got to get back and do the job here. Flanagan. Declan Gagan with the free kick, aimed at Scully, who'd gone forward. Now it's Doolan. And still Doolan. And Sheridan. Oh, yes! Well, that's how to respond to the concession of an early goal. Fashioned by Paul Doolan's persistence. And Tony Sheridan rifling it in with his left foot, giving Mooney no chance. There are only 9 minutes on the clock, and it's one apiece. Determination here from the old stager. Doolan driving on, setting up Sheridan, and a flashing shot beyond Mooney. Frayne and Colin getting mixed up together. Fenlon was in there too. It was Sheridan who finished it off. Well, he would have been happy about the way his team led in the first goal, but he'll be happier now that they're level. Kelly straight at Frayne. Now Cronin. Cut out by Costello. It's Fenlon. And rebounding from Morley, and it's come to Caulfield. Johnny Caulfield brought down, penalty. No question or doubt about that. Johnny Caulfield brought down by Pat Scully, and Cork have a penalty. John Stacey had absolutely no option whatsoever. Well, it was Pat Fenlon's hesitancy that led to that concession of the penalty. He waited much too long, allowed Morley to come and close him down. There was the rebound that broke kindly for Caulfield, and Scully was caught, and the trailing leg brought the Cork man down. So it's a penalty to come, to be taken by Kelvin Flanagan. And despite Goff's best efforts, Cork go back in front. Kelvin Flanagan gets the goal that restores Cork's lead after 17 minutes. Successful from the spot for the 6th time this season. Doolan got in first, then it's Sheridan. Some lovely touches by him, but that was a good tackle by Colin. Costello making it his. Kelly. Frayne there to take it away from him. Well, that sold Cronin a little short. Kelly. Now Heary. Well saved by Mooney. Important that, because there were 2 red shirts in the middle. He couldn't hold it, but he made sure he put it where there was no Shelbourne player. Now Cronin. On for Morley and Cahill. Outright, Caulfield. Morley through the middle. Caulfield hoisted to him. Wonderful counter-attack by Cork City. Pat Morley in the right place, but just couldn't direct the header under the goal. Great breakout by Cork City. Caulfield knew where Morley would be. Morley went diving in, but the header was just off target. But prior to that, immediately prior to that, what a fine save by Noel Mooney in the Cork goal. Kelly sending Heary away. He found his way into the corner, pulled it back, 2 Shelbourne men in the middle, and Mooney had to direct it away from them both. Frayne wide for Cronin, it's out off Sheridan. Here's Costello. Mooney thought about coming, went back to the goal, and McCarthy, had he managed to direct that towards the target, might well have beaten the keeper. He does have a bit of a tendency to be reluctant to leave his line, Noel Mooney, and here he got a bit caught in no man's land, but McCarthy's header was wide. The winner there was Baker. Flanagan. And there's the final whistle of the first half. The half that began with a flurry of activity. Most notably Colin O'Brien's cross that turned into the opening goal after 4 minutes. But that was cancelled out by a superb shot from Tony Sheridan just 5 minutes later. And then came the penalty incident. Pat Fenlon slow with a clearance, a rebound from Morley. In went Caulfield, brought down by Scully, and Kelvin Flanagan converted to leave Cork in front at the break by 2-1. Same personnel for the start of the second half, and Shelbourne with a game to retrieve. Dave Hill in the way, now it's Paul Doolan. And that goalmouth really is in a desperate state. But this time Noel Mooney under no pressure. There's McCarthy. And Gagan again. Doolan. Gagan. Baker in chase, but the ball crosses the touchline. Doolan. Sheridan in chase, the deftest of touches by Hill. And Cronin in trouble with the pitch again. Presented it to Heary. Cahill challenging. And referee John Stacey says that's a foul by Ollie Cahill. Tony McCarthy and Pat Scully, the two centre-halves, forward to threaten Noel Mooney's goal. The free kick comes from Costello. Caulfield heading away. It's come out to Heary. Fair old shot. Johnny Caulfield took it to the solar plexus, but he's fine. Saw it coming. Fenlon. In goes McCarthy, and that's gone behind. And it broke free to Heary, and he fairly dumped it, but it went straight at Caulfield. Cronin. Flanagan. Cahill back for Cronin. Flip forward for Dobbs, policed by Scully. It's Cahill again, and he's found Kelvin Flanagan, and he too has found Morley, and there's number 3. A superlative goal by Cork City. Wonderful football to set it up. And Pat Morley there to claim another goal. His third in 3 games. Superbly finished. But what a terrific build-up. Ollie Cahill back to Gareth Cronin. Steadied himself. Picked out Dobbs, who found Cahill again. Then threaded through for Flanagan. Nice turn by him. Picked out Morley, pulled away from his man, and across the bows of Alan Goff. That was a terrific goal by Cork City. Pat Morley, 1 for Shelbourne at the start of the season, and 1 against them now. Quarter of an hour of the second half gone. Great goal. Stephen Gagan. And it's come to Cronin. A chance for the left back to run a bit. And then for Dobbs. Cahill goes outside. Dobbs towards Morley. Cleared by McCarthy. Flanagan and wide. And again, Dobbs involved in this. Aimed for Morley. McCarthy got it clear, but Flanagan was pouncing at the edge of the box, though the shot wasn't great. Crane back for Cahill, and Cronin joins the attack. Left by Crane. Flanagan on for Cahill. Oh, nicely played by Ollie Cahill. Still it's Cahill, brought down, and the referee says no foul this time. Desi Baker tackled him from behind. The referee right there to see it, and deciding it wasn't a penalty. Costello on for Desi Baker. Back then for Sheridan. Off for Scully, it was meant to be, but instead it's Flanagan who comes away with it. And it's 3-on-3 here as Scully scampers back. That's for Morley. Closing now is McCarthy, still Pat Morley. Can he finish? Oh, Goff made the save. It's run for the corner. But another terrific breakout by Cork. Flanagan picked out Morley and he stepped inside the challenge of McCarthy. Straight at Goff though. Corner to Cork City. Taken by Flanagan. Dobbs header, goal kick. Well, Dave Barry and Liam Murphy to the right there, the two once distinguished players, now distinguished management team, and they've got Cork back on the rails after that setback last week against Pats. Dobbs. Nicely on for O'Brien. Morley's in the middle, so too is Cahill. And O'Brien pulled it in behind Morley, cleared away by Desi Baker. That was a waste. But the clearance only sets it up again for Cork. Possession now with Cronin. Train. Cronin on for Flanagan. Cahill. And Hill for Morley, who stayed on side. Back for Dobbs. Wonderful football from Cork City once more, with Gerald Dobbs on the end of it, who couldn't convert it. But a super ball. Hill for Morley, and Morley timed the run to perfection. The Shelbourne defence torn apart. He picked out Dobbs, but the shot was too wide. Past the challenge of Flanagan. Cahill in the way. Hill, it's come free. Gagan. Sheridan 2. Back then for Fitzgerald. Scully goes up. Daly got it away. Shelbourne trying to mount a bit of a rally. Sheridan for Costello. Sheridan. And that came off the head of Flanagan, and it's Desi Baker. And it's 3-2. Pat Fenlon. Significant that Desi Baker, the substitute, was involved in that. The cross found the unmarked Fenlon, and his deft little header beat Noel Mooney. Baker omitted from the starting line of the past couple of matches, on as a sub to supply Fenlon. And for Pat Fenlon, it's goal number 8 of the season. Nobody marking him. For once, Cork's defence had lost its concentration and its shape. And Herrick lost his footing, but still managed to get the ball. Now it's Flanagan. On for O'Brien. Take on Gagan. And the offside flag goes up against Ollie Cahill. Free kick from Costello. Now Sheridan. Shelbourne strive for the point. The cross from Gagan. And Scully! Never say die from Shelbourne. And their captain, Pat Scully, gets up to score the goal. He got a dozen last season. All he's got for this, the couple against Shamrock Rovers in the Cup. But when times are tough for Shells, Scully goes forward to centre forward. It was Stephen Gagan with the cross. Perfect it was. And Scully found the net. Final minute of normal time. And Gagan's cross picks out Scully. And Shelbourne, in the most unlikely circumstances, are level. And that's a goal that will mean much to Shelbourne. In went Cahill. In again goes Richie Baker. Baker on. And there's no offside. There is an offside against Stephen Gagan. For one moment it appeared he'd got away with it. One more chance for Cork City. A close call. And the final whistle sounds, and it's Shelbourne who celebrate. And Dave Barry can fashion a smile for the predicament that he would understand Dermot Keely to be in. But Keely has put an end to a run of 3 defeats in a row for Dave Barry. Well, his team outplayed Shelbourne, but Pat Scully's towering header in the final minute of normal time consigned this match to a share of the spoils, and Dave Barry's Cork City have now dropped 5 points out of the last 6 and find themselves 4 behind the leaders, St. Patrick's Athletic. A result that will be greeted with much delight in Inchicore. It's Shelbourne 3, Cork City 3.
Overall tonight I was very pleased with the attitude of the lads. You know, played some exceptional football at times, and you know, it was just one of those things. We lost our concentration for the last 10 minutes.
Well, now, the positive side is you did get a point out of it when you could have thrown the whole thing away, and you did play so well. That's
right. I think as a manager, all I can do is for the lads to, you know, go and give 100%. I think if I came up here and got a draw and didn't play well, and a lot of players were, you know, didn't play up to their full potential, but I think really to a man, we played exceptionally well at times, and you know, deserved to go 3-1 up. But you know, Shells, fair dues to them, they threw bodies forward in the last couple of minutes, and you know, unfortunately they stuck the equaliser.
You started with 2 familiar faces on the bench. It's Stephen Geoghegan and Desi Baker, and yet they were both on the pitch when you saved the match.
Yeah, but I don't. Are you saying my team selection is wrong?
I wouldn't dream of it, but I'm just wondering.
No, we forgot a lot of players wide. Ollie Cowell was a bit of a worry to me, and Owen is very quick and he's a natural defender. So I thought, you know, that if we played him out there, he would keep him quiet. And I thought Owen did really well. We didn't see much of him, of Ollie, and Owen had a couple of chances. But then when you go to 3-1 down, you know, it's time to have a go. Again, Liam Kelly has been sick and hasn't got games, so you're trying to get him in for a match, and now is all he could do. I mean, that's as much as he can do. And Stephen come on as well. Stephen again has been sick and is struggling to get back to full fitness, and you know, I don't know how long that's going to be. It might be next year. So again, you're just trying to rest him up and keep him fresh. There's no kind of mystery about it.
Well, you slipped to 6 before this game. You've a cup tie against Bows on Friday night. Is that in any sense a respite, or is that another kind of pressure?
No, I think in Shelbourne everything is a pressure. You know, there's nothing you can do about this. The cup has a huge significance for us now. I mean, there's no point in beating about the bush. That's a fact of life. 6th or 5th in the league here is not going to be. It's not going to be good enough. Big club like this, it's probably not acceptable, and you know, I go along with that. So next week's match becomes, you know, very, very important. So the pressure doesn't ease, not at all. It's even greater next week.
Yes, a lot expected of managers at Talca Park, but Dermot Keely's been long enough in the game to know how to handle pressure. And full credit to the players this afternoon, producing a 6-goal thriller on what was a simply appalling surface.